More information continues to come out regarding the upcoming case on Sean Diddy Combs. Several old interviews and clips have started to resurface, where Diddy and his now infamous freak-off parties are mentioned.
Jennifer, do you think Diddy deserves to be in jail? Are you gonna be Diddy's witness, Jennifer? Are you gonna be Diddy's witness, Jennifer? Do you think he deserves to be in jail, Jennifer?
The alleged crimes of Sean Diddy Combs are what's trending in true crime this morning. Welcome back. I'm Julie Grant. Many people are noticing the celebrity associates who are not speaking out.
Shed Diddy's recent arrest on charges of racketeering and sex trafficking has drawn attention back to his past, especially his well-known relationship with Jennifer Lopez in the late 1990s and early 2000s. They were a highly publicized celebrity couple, frequently featured in the media. Now, with Diddy facing serious allegations of running a criminal operation linked to sex trafficking and other crimes, questions are emerging about those who were close to him during that time, particularly Jennifer Lopez, who dated him during this controversial period.
Finally speaks out about her relationship with Diddy.
Just one of those breakups that really, it was like a tough one for me.
Bye boy to him.
Things were allegedly so bad that J-Lo had a nervous breakdown. In the interview, she said, "I was like, I don't want to move. I don't want to talk. I don't want to do anything. I had a nervous breakdown." It's speculated some of the movie Enough is inspired by her relationship with Diddy.
What do you think?
Diddy and Lopez started their relationship in 1999 during a peak time in both of their careers. Diddy, known as Puff Daddy, was a top producer and rapper, while Lopez was gaining fame as a global star through her movies and music. They quickly became a prominent couple, often seen together at major events like the MTV Video Music Awards and the 2000 Grammys. Their romance was glamorous, but also marked by tension and drama. There were whispers about Diddy's extravagant lifestyle, with reports of wild parties that attracted not just celebrities, but also drugs and criminal behavior.
This whole Diddy situation. Now reports are coming out about the time he dated J-Lo, aka Jennifer Lopez, and allegedly Will Smith and his wife wanted to have a threesome with Jennifer. I don't even know. Here's the report. So while on the set of Jimmy Kimmel's show back in 2023, the host nudged Sean Diddy Combs to discuss rumors about Will Smith and Jada Smith attempting to basically have a threesome with Lopez. Kimmel asked, "When you were dating J-Lo, Will Smith and Jada tried to pick her up on a threesome and you were gonna beat up Will Smith. Is that true?" Diddy said, "You really heard that?" Nah. Then Kimmel admitted that he's seen it online and joked, "You're telling me I can't believe everything I read, ha." And Sean Combs jokingly played along saying, "What? I don't know what you're talking about." Fans commented, "The rage in his eyes." Another said, "Weird things going on in Hollywood, I wonder why." And basically, people are saying that even though they were joking about it, right? Apparently, when Diddy was asked about it, a lot of people could tell that it angered him. Like, Kimmel was like, "Hey, Will Smith and Jada tried to have a threesome with your girl." And then allegedly, he just looked mad. I don't know. So maybe it's true. I mean, Will Smith and Jada, they be on some freaky stuff, bro. Like Jada Pinkett, that woman is embarrassing, humiliating, and talking down about her man 24/7. Like, seriously, if we're talking about Jada now, that woman embarrasses Will 24/7. No joke. But I don't know. Whatever. There's the report. Peace.
Despite the surrounding controversies, Diddy and Lopez remained in the public eye, seemingly unaffected by the drama. One of the most notorious incidents during their relationship happened in December 1999 when they were caught up in a nightclub shooting in New York City. The incident started after an argument between Diddy and another patron, leading to shots being fired and injuring 3 people. Diddy, Lopez, and Diddy's bodyguard quickly left the scene but were later arrested. Lopez was held for 14 hours but faced no charges related to the shooting. Diddy, however, faced significant legal issues after a stolen gun was discovered in the car they escaped in, raising questions about his legal gun ownership. Eventually, he went to trial alongside his bodyguard and rapper Shine, who was also connected to the incident.
Someone who destroyed my life.
Former rapper Moses Shine Barrow is speaking out in the wake of Sean Diddy Combs' arrest and federal indictment. Once Diddy's bad boy protege, Moses served nearly a decade in prison for a 1999 nightclub shooting in New York, where 3 people were injured. Diddy attended a party at the club with his then-girlfriend Jennifer Lopez and had also been arrested and accused of being involved in the shooting. However, during his trial, he said he fired the gun in self-defense and was acquitted of all charges. J-Lo was also arrested at the scene and was held for about 14 hours but was released without being charged. Moses, who is now the leader of the opposition in the Belize House of Representatives, claims he took the fall for Diddy and is now reflecting on his incarceration, calling Diddy someone who, quote, destroyed my life. In a press conference, the politician details their past relationship.
When I was a 18-year-old kid, just wanting to do nothing other than make my mother proud and make Belize proud and do what all of us want to do, be recognized for our talent and take over the world. I was defending him, and he turned around and called witnesses to testify against me, and he contributed. He pretty much sent me to prison.
Klein was found guilty and sentenced to 10 years in prison, while Diddy was acquitted of all charges. The nightclub shooting became a pivotal moment in Diddy and Lopez's relationship, although they stayed together for a little while longer after the incident. By 2001, the strain on their relationship was clear, and they eventually split up, marking the end of one of the most talked about romances of the early 2000s.
Jennifer Lopez and her team are currently on high alert and having crisis talks amidst the Diddy scandal. Jennifer is said to be on high alert since Diddy has been charged, as they think that a previous case that involved her could be reopened. According to sources, Jennifer is weighing up breaking her silence on her arrest with Diddy in 1999 over an incident with 3 people outside the Times Square club where shots were fired. Jennifer was cleared and released after spending 14 hours in custody. But fans suspect there is more to the case than what was initially reported at the time. One of the victims remained adamant that it was Diddy who pulled the trigger and suspected that a man took the fall for Diddy because of his fame. During an assault lawsuit in February, Rodney Jones claimed that Diddy was boasting on the night of the incident that Jennifer had carried the weapon into the club so Diddy could commit the crime. Fans are expecting the case to be looked at in more detail as Diddy's trial continues and suspect that Jennifer may be dragged into it. It seems that Jennifer and her team feel the same way, with sources saying that there were crisis talks this week about whether or not Jennifer should try and get ahead of the speculation by commenting.
With Diddy now facing federal charges, many are questioning whether other high-profile celebrities were aware of or involved in his alleged criminal activities.
So big news out of New York, where P. Diddy has been held for more than a week in the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. This comes after Diddy's arrest last Monday, following his indictment by a federal grand jury on charges of racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, and transportation to engage in prostitution. The 14-page indictment lays out some pretty strong claims against Diddy, alleging he's guilty of sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. The indictment goes on to allege Diddy showed a pattern of abuse, mostly against women, that included verbal, emotional, physical, and sexual abuse, including the use of extensive grooming tactics. There's also mention of something referred to as freak-offs, which are described as elaborate and produced sex performances that Combs arranged, directed, masturbated during, and often electronically recorded. During these so-called freak-offs, Diddy would often drug his victims, sometimes without their knowledge, to keep them obedient and compliant. Then, Diddy allegedly required these victims to have sex with prostitutes, and oftentimes he recorded that too. Again, these recordings were made without the victim's knowledge or consent. These freak-off sessions were facilitated by Diddy's associates, that the indictment refers to as part of the Combs enterprise. These associates would procure the sex workers, book the hotel rooms where these freak-offs would take place, and stock the rooms with necessities like baby oil and lube.
As Diddy's ex-girlfriend, who was often by his side during their relationship, Lopez's ties to him are now being closely examined.
Where she met Ben. And according to her 2024 documentary, The Greatest Love Story Never Told, some of those relationships were outright abusive.
There were people in my life who said I loved you and then didn't do things that were kind of in line with the word love.
A bit later in the film, Lopez describes a discussion in which a therapist asked her what she'd do if it was her daughter in an abusive relationship. She said that it would be easy to tell her daughter to leave and never look back, but for herself, it was complicated, quote, like looking through fog. Lopez then detailed some of the abuse.
I mean, I was never in a relationship where I got beat up, thank God, but...
Despite the serious charges against Diddy, Lopez's name hasn't appeared in any recent government documents or court filings related to the case. Former prosecutor Ava Sullivan mentioned that federal authorities might consider interviewing Lopez as part of their ongoing investigation into Diddy. But there's no indication that she has been involved or questioned so far. Sullivan pointed out that Lopez could have valuable insights into Diddy's actions during their relationship. If she witnessed any illegal activities, she could become a key figure in the investigation. Adding to the speculation, Diddy's former producer, Rodney Little Rod Jones, claimed that Diddy once bragged about the nightclub shooting in 1999. Jones alleged that Diddy suggested Lopez had passed him the gun before the shots were fired, which raises further questions about her potential involvement. Although these claims remain unverified, they have rekindled interest in Lopez's connection to Diddy's legal issues from that time. Lopez has distanced herself from the incident. Even though she was detained by police, she was released without any charges. The public generally accepted that she played no significant role in the crime. However, with Diddy now facing multiple serious allegations, including leading a criminal enterprise, some are wondering if the nightclub shooting might be revisited in light of these new developments.
Record executive and convicted felon Suge Knight believes the rumored impending divorce between Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck is the result of Lopez's appearance in the tapes the FBI seized in the raid on Sean Diddy Combs' home. In a new episode of his prison podcast, Collect Calls with Suge Knight, he claims that the FBI may have confiscated tapes from the raids on Diddy's mansions earlier this year. And some of those tapes include Jennifer Lopez. He said, recalling her involvement in the 1999 nightclub shooting where Moses Shine Barrow took the fall for Diddy, that they go raid Puffy's house and they get all these videos of J-Lo doing this and J-Lo doing that, and they know the fact that J-Lo lied and said that the firearm was Shine's or whatever, and sent that man to prison, destroying his life, and she knew it was Puffy.
Sources indicate that Lopez and her team have been involved in crisis discussions, likely worried that the nightclub shooting and other past incidents related to Diddy might come back to haunt her career. If any new evidence were to surface suggesting that Lopez helped smuggle a gun into the nightclub, it could lead to significant legal consequences, despite the events occurring over 20 years ago.
What Jennifer Lopez had to do was marry a white boy, Oscar winner, for people to stop remembering that she had a gun in her pocketbook. She had gunshot residue on her hands the night that Natanya was shot at that club. Not once has she spoken up for the betterment of that woman or say something in her defense to stop Puffy from gaslighting her and trying to put hits out on her because he was afraid that maybe one day they would open the case and she still has the bullet fragments in her face. Like J-Lo has said nothing. You really thought that just running off and marrying Ben Affleck was going to take you out of the Diddy down?
One notable aspect of Diddy's current legal troubles is the silence from many celebrities who have been linked to him, including Jennifer Lopez. This lack of comment contrasts sharply with other high-profile cases, like that of Harvey Weinstein, where many celebrities quickly distanced themselves from the accused and expressed support for the victims. Experts, including prosecutor Ava Sullivan, believe this silence might be a strategic decision, as celebrities may be concerned about facing public backlash or being perceived as guilty by association.
What I'm hearing this morning is that we've gone from just shaking in the boots to sheer panic. As you said in your opening statements, Julie, the silence is deafening, especially from longtime associates of Diddy, such as J-Lo, who dated him for a very long time in the early 2000s, Usher, who was one of his proteges, along with Justin Bieber. These are people that had firsthand accounts and experiences with this man, and they are quiet. And the reason being is they don't know what part of their experiences are on those tapes that the FBI has and what they got during those raids. They don't know if it was criminal or just a part of whatever, their adult consent, pleasure, whatever you want to call it. But what they're worried about now is their own brand, their own empires, their own careers. And if they had any part of planning or any part of knowing about the minors or the sex workers there, they're going to be in big trouble.
Lopez, speaking out about Diddy's arrest, could reopen old wounds connected to the nightclub shooting and force her to confront her past with him. Additionally, any comments she makes might be used against her in court if she is called as a witness or if prosecutors decide to revisit the shooting. The victims of the 1999 nightclub shooting have not forgotten that night. One victim, Natana Rubin, who was shot in the face, has publicly stated her belief that Diddy was responsible for the incident. Rubin filed a lawsuit against Diddy in 2011, which was settled out of court, but she continues to advocate for justice, convinced that Diddy evaded punishment due to his fame and influence.
There's no doubt in my mind who shot him.
You have said since really right after the shooting that it was P. Diddy who shot you.
I was standing by the front door. I watched the entire thing out. I had no reason to believe that it would escalate to a shooting. It was just male machismo and bravado at first. A lot of pushing and shoving, raised voices, hands, but then I saw them reach in their waist and draw from their hip. And I knew. I instantly turned to my friends and told them, be careful, watch out. And when I turned back, I know, and I've said over and over, I've heard the voice of God said, you are about to be hit. Calm down. And as I said no, I looked straight forward ahead and I watched the muzzle flash from both of their guns and I felt the impact to my face instantly. J-Lo testified at the grand jury, as did many other people. It needs to be reopened because if that is in fact the case, she carried the gun in and she lied to the grand jury.
Shine, who spent nearly a decade in prison for his involvement in the shooting, has voiced feelings of bitterness about the incident. He alleges that Diddy betrayed him by shifting the blame for the shooting onto him, leading Shine to face the repercussions. Despite their complicated past, Shine has since reconnected with Diddy for business reasons and to pursue scholarships for his home country. However, his story serves as a stark reminder of the lasting impact of that night.
Shine finally speaks about that incident. He has avoided it, he always talks around it, but not anymore. Based on this report coming in from Belize, and we have his interview on tape, for the past few weeks, dark allegations and civil lawsuits have swirled around American entertainment mogul Sean Diddy Combs, and one name that keeps coming up is Shine Barrow. And of course it would. He served nearly 10 years in a U.S. prison for shooting in a Manhattan nightclub where one woman was shot in the face. That woman has constantly claimed and now vocally restating that it was Diddy, not Shine, who did it. Barrow has refused to speak about it at his last press conference in late March, and he says he has declined dozens of requests from international press to discuss it, and he declined again during this press briefing. But at the end of it, he conceded to make some comments, his first since Diddy's name became immersed in the scandal. And without further ado, I present that interview right here.
Name became immersed in scandal.
It opens wounds. When you hear, the victim saying that it was Diddy that shot her. That is what is the most remarkable. Oh, you didn't see that?
I saw that.
Okay.
As Diddy's legal troubles persist, there is increasing concern that Jennifer Lopez could suffer reputational damage if her name becomes more closely tied to the investigation. Although there is currently no direct evidence linking her to Diddy's alleged crimes, public perception can be challenging to control. If Lopez were to be implicated, even indirectly, it could harm her carefully cultivated image as a beloved entertainer and successful businesswoman.
I have to imagine there were people who were part of this and witnessed this. In fact, the government said that they interviewed over 50 witnesses and victims. But there is one name on that celebrity list that is standing out in particular right now. Jennifer Lopez, J-Lo. Why? Well, long before Combs was criminally charged, long before he was hit with multiple lawsuits accusing him of sexual assault, he dated the famous pop star and actress, reportedly from 1999 to 2001. Their first public appearance was September 1999 at the MTV Music Awards, and the following year, when they were together, was where she wore that infamous Versace green dress at the Grammys. The couple were on red carpets together. They went to Combs' famous white party together. Big A-list couple. In fact, there is a photo of them together lying in a white bed with giant pillows, and in another photo they're in that same bed with other people.
Considering the serious charges against Diddy and the extensive federal investigation, it's likely that more witnesses, including celebrities, could become involved in the case, even if Lopez does not take on a significant role in the legal proceedings. The public's interest in her past relationship with Diddy will probably keep her name in the spotlight as his federal case progresses. This focus on their romance highlights how high-profile relationships can become intertwined with legal controversies.
2015, Jennifer appeared on the Wendy Williams show with her mom in the audience. After Wendy said she could see J-Lo getting back with Puffy in a little way, Guadalupe shouted from the crowd so loud that it caught J-Lo's attention and later Wendy's. The camera cut to Guadalupe, who made a cut-it-out motion with her hands and mouthed, "We're done." A mother's intuition is always right. I'm sure she could tell that this dude was not right for her daughter.
Although Lopez has stayed quiet so far, it's uncertain whether she will be called to testify or if her connection to Diddy will affect her career going forward. For now, the public can only speculate about any role she may have had in Diddy's past and whether her name will come up again as the investigation unfolds. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. That's all for now. For more updates, be sure to hit the bell icon.